Hello, board members of Camp Ecologists. After years of success in the after school program field, our company procedures are being reworked to a new level of standardization so that each of our locations can operate in a similar capacity. Camp Ecologists was started in 2005 and has seen exponential growth since its founding here in Atlanta, Georgia. Since then, the camp has been expanded to five other U.S. cities, including Denver, Colorado, New York City, Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Illinois, and Raleigh, North Carolina. The company has outgrown our previous model and now requires a more centralized and consistent strategy for recruitment and performance. As you are all aware, our mission is to promote environmental stewardship through engaging science projects and outdoor adventures. We've been extremely successful in this regard, and we are one of the highest rated environmental outdoor camps in the country. The company vision, though, is what has truly inspired the need for change. The vision of Camp Ecologists is to inspire future generations to feel a sense of connectedness with nature and learn to unplug from an increasingly digital world. As children become more engrossed with their screens and the internet, the demand for child friendly outdoor programming like ours has reached soaring new heights. To keep up with this demand, we must re envision the way we lead our staff members as we transition into a learning organization. Our vision will now include the training of staff as we ensure that everyone can become a better environmental steward. Summer and after school programs like ours often employ teenagers as a matter of practicality. We operate during the times when these teenagers are either out of school or on their break. As such, we have many high school students who apply to be counselors, but finding and keeping quality teenagers can be quite difficult. As such, Camp Ecologists will rework our recruitment strategy and professional development plan to streamline the career path of our workforce and find individuals who are willing to engage in our vision. This will in turn reduce turnover and improve staff quality. But before I rework our process, I would like to analyze the company by using the SOAR principle. SOAR stands for Strengths, Opportunities, Aspirations, and Results, and is an organizational analysis that seeks to maximize the effectiveness on what a company already does well. Our strengths are the quality of our programming and the adaptability of our team. The opportunities that we see are the increased levels of parents who are wanting their children to learn practical skills and hobbies that have nothing to do with the internet. Too much TikTok. Our aspiration is to capitalize on this trend and continue to expand our brand throughout the country. Our results will hinge on the implementation of our training program that will engage and retain our workforce. The ability to instill a culture of growth and development is one of the most important tools in the skill set of an effective leadership team. Without this skill, organizations will inevitably stagnate and be much more vulnerable to threats such as an ever changing economy, increased competition, or countless other unplanned factors. This organizational change will probably not be well received by everyone, as the implementation of a new HR standardization program may seem a little too corporate for some people who've been working in a camp environment for quite some time. In most camp jobs, monetary benefits and compensation is not the main motivating factor, though it is important. Rather, interpersonal relationships and the unique culture of working at a camp is often what encourages passionate employees to return. When addressing change resistance, it is imperative that we as leaders are clear on why the organizational change is necessary, and we must note how employees respond and communicate with them respectfully and honestly. Allowing time for feedback with our discussions will make the employees feel heard and will be an opportunity to improve on the change even further. Approximately two-thirds of organizational changes fail in the long run. The predisposition to resist change most often stems from one of these four barriers: routine seeking, emotional reaction, short term focus, or cognitive rigidity. Change is almost impossible to implement if employees lack a clear understanding and vision of why that change is necessary. If camp employees are unable to see the need for our changes, then establishing buy in will become much more difficult and our initiative is much more likely to fail. To mitigate pushback and increase understanding, a degree of buy in by employees must first be established. For us to establish this buy in with the staff, the leadership team must understand why the change is being implemented. Employees must believe that they will benefit from the change. They must compare the change to their current situation. They must identify similarities and differences. And they must have proof that the change is likely to be successful. One of the most consistent problems in the camp and childcare profession is an extremely high rate of turnover. Turnover rate for summer camp counselors from year to year is about 40%, which is twice the yearly employee average turnover rate. While it is true that camp jobs are not necessarily expected to be a long term career for most, potentially transformative staff members may leave prematurely due to for the lack of an opportunity for growth, rather. In addition to demotivating employees, high turnover can come with high training costs. In order to replace each employee that leaves, recruiting costs, training costs, onboarding costs, and a loss of productivity must all be accounted for. These expenses have a cumulative effect that takes up a large percentage of our yearly budget. A camp institution that can address this problem of high turnover is well poised to be a leader in the field, and this is exactly what our new operational standards seeks to facilitate. Summer camp jobs are an ideal first job for many high school students seeking employment during their summer break. As such, camp ecologists will become a learning organization by employing and training responsible teenage workers. The goal and vision of camp ecologists will not only positively impact our campers, but will also create a work culture of growth and excellence that will set up our staff members for future success. High school students who work at summer camp jobs and develop their leadership skills, their collaborative skills, and their child management skills show an increased rate of college readiness when compared to their peers. Camp ecologists will reinforce this tendency by including professional development training in our advertising, as well as ample opportunities for raises and promotions so that we attract the best of the best. Because these teenagers will have a strong impact on the care and safety of our campers, we will undergo rigorous screenings and trainings to ensure that our teen camp counselors are responsible and mature enough to handle the responsibilities bestowed to them. And this will be done for every institution that we have. The structure of most camp environments consists of just camp counselors, lead counselors, and directors, and that's pretty much it. This leaves little room for employee growth unless a managerial position becomes available. The feeling of stagnation is one of the most common reasons why people leave their jobs. Teenage camp counselors who are still in high school will be now assigned as junior camp counselors instead of just being regular camp counselors. These counselors will be primarily responsible for keeping campers engaged, and they will assist more senior counselors with the setup and breakdown of activities. As they are minors themselves, there will be no expectation for them to be directly responsible for child management. If they encounter a behavioral or medical problem with a camper, they will be expected to contact or defer to an adult counselor. These counselors will be given a starting pay of $10 to $13 an hour based on their work experience, if any. Because lead camp counselors will be so closely working with our teenage staff, They will be responsible for reporting their successes and their shortcomings so that we can positively develop them in the areas that they need. Performance management can be a boon for the growth and development of both the employee and the company when done correctly. Lead counselors will be expected to praise our junior counselors when they succeed and offer appropriate corrections if mistakes are made. Feedback is typically best received when given in a timely manner and focused on positive behavioral change. Negative feedback can be more difficult to navigate, and some individuals are not as prepared to react to criticism. To counteract this and keep conversations productive, while providing our feedback and suggestions for growth, staff members will focus on positive behavioral change and avoid using terms such as right, wrong, good, bad, or strong, weak. These terms are more likely to make individuals feel personally attacked, which reduces the effectiveness of the feedback. During their evaluations, there'll be no mention of strengths or weaknesses. There'll only be strengths and areas that are in need of further development. Camp Ecologist seeks to be the premier place for motivated teens and young adults to work. We will do so by creating a brand of youth development that will be positively impactful to our counselors as well as our campers. The aim is to earn the reputation of a learning environment that parents would want their teen or young adults to be a part of. If achieved, this reputation will do much of the recruiting for us as individuals begin to seek us out. An additional goal is to have many of our campers themselves become camp counselors, which will lead to a more sustained flow of candidates coming into our institution. This will address our standardization and some of our turnover concerns. By becoming a learning organization that operates with vision in mind, I am confident that camp ecologists can achieve our goals and fill the parental demand to teach children how to create natural connections in the modern world. Thank you for your time and your attention.